Alright, says I'm live. If you guys can hear me, please let me know and we'll get this started. I'll pop the chat. We will get going. Let's see. If the chat would load, I would actually know. Okay, I see Jason's in here. He says, ice up some, McLeod go to break the slate. I don't know about that, but I know you have a very fondness of PJ McLeod, which he's definitely a fun driver for sure. Dude, what's up, Dude? Nice to see you back. What's up, Tim? Excited to be back, Chris. Excited to see you back, Tim. Cannot wait for the season to actually start. We're kind of still in the speed weeks, but still nice to have some races. K Diddy says hi. What's up, K Diddy? Trey's in here. He says, howdy, what is up, Trey? Chris says, ask Duke who his top value driver is. Well, if it's in duel number 1, he likes Michael McDowell or Ty Dillon. That's what Duke's telling me, so we'll see how accurate he is tonight. Duke says, hear you, Chris. Awesome. Steven says, looks and sounds good. Awesome. And again, if it ever starts cutting out or something, please let me know so I can fix it. I don't want to talk all choppy for an hour and then not see it. Dude says, good to see a familiar face talking NASCAR. Yeah, awesome to see you back in the chat. Definitely love having you here. Trey says, Dude, why you got a wrench? Well, he was a really good mod for me last time. We had a bunch of people last year, like 400 some people on one, and I had to get someone to moderate the chat. And see, Dan says, good to go. Tracy says, happy race day. Yeah. Happy race day, Tracy. Hope you enjoyed the 2 races we have tonight. Although someone sent me a picture of the weather, and it looks like the weather might not be the best tonight. So hopefully we can get both races in. Look like Duel 2 might be in trouble, but I didn't really double check that too much. Dustin says, too many ties and cash last night. You talking NBA? Because there was no racing last night on Wednesday. But if you are talking NBA, I mean, it was a very chalky slate, as per usual. Spread Attack says, here, Chris. Nice to have you, Spread. Chris says, looks great. Is it just me, or is there a second duel a much tougher build? I was thinking the same thing, Chris. I actually like the duel number 1 a lot better than duel number 2. Duel number 2, it's very top heavy. I think there's a lot of good plays up top, and then down low, like Noah Gragson and everyone besides that, it just does not look that great. Anthony Alfredo, I think, is an interesting option as well, but I'm not liking that slate as much. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I know Chris does. Trey says, oh, nice wrench then. Yeah, I kind of forget how to do that. But if he doesn't want the wrench, I'll take it off, but he's welcome to have the wrench. Chris says, Trey wants that wrench. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. We'll see if he earns it. Daniel says, good luck today, everyone. Let's get it. Yeah, for sure, Daniel. Spread says, said it's clear right now in Daytona. Awesome. Well, if we get any weather updates, let me know, because I have my... Well, I guess it'll just cancel the reserves that I have for the duel number 2. Doesn't matter anyway. Aaron says, will both races be follow the leader races? You know, I'm probably expecting a pretty boring race for the most part. It's not going to be the Daytona 500 where Timmy Hill, Garrett Smithley, Balicki, Cody Ware, Quinn Half, those guys make the optimal lineup. I think for the most part, we're going to see Logano, Hamlin, just for like duel number 1. Almirola, all those guys up top are probably going to finish up top. So this is going to be a race that's going to be definitely focused on finishing position potential, but there's also some guys that can move through the field a little bit, like Eric Jones starting 15th and Tyler Reddick starting 16th, but definitely not going to be a wreck fest by any means unless someone makes a really bad mistake. Let's see. Dustin says, whoops, 2 nights ago. Okay, I figured that's what you're talking about. Yeah, there was a lot of ties. Although someone did solo win the $8. I think my best lineup in the $8 finished, I want to say 62nd maybe. I had to double check that, but it was tied with a lot of people. And I mean, Truex wrecking, I thought my day was completely over, but I had 75% Truex, which actually was only 5% overweight in the field. Still kind of broke even. I did lose around $50, $60, I want to say. I posted on Twitter that was my entertainment fee for the race, because that was a really good race. So I guess I don't mind the loss that much, especially with Truex wrecking out. And Kurt Busch, those were like 2 of my heaviest owned drivers, so I guess I'm thankful to make it out alive in that one. Brian says, I really hope nobody's buying Bowman or Byron. Yeah, I don't really have any Bowman or Byron whatsoever. Maybe like 1 or 2%, just in case something crazy happens. We know how NASCAR is, but I assume they're going to lead some laps early on, and then they should fade to the back so they don't damage that car, because they got some really fast cars, especially Bowman. He killed it in qualifying yesterday. Absolutely killed it. Cameron says he made it. Awesome. Glad you got your schoolwork done. Trey says MDB or Eric Jones. I think Eric Jones is a little bit safer. Exposures, I do have more Eric Jones than I do Matt DiBenedetto, but I feel like MDB has higher finishing position upside than Eric Jones, but it will be close. But MDB is pretty much a Penske car. We know those Penske cars tend to run near the front at these restrictor plate races, so I like both quite a bit. And two really some of my favorite plays in duel number one, so I'd say it's pretty close. I think MDB is more of a tournament play. Eric Jones is more of the cash game play there. So if you're looking for really high upside, I think MDB, he can finish inside the top three. Eric Jones, I think he's your safer floor cash play. If that makes sense. Joseph says, I love that NASCAR is back. I totally do too, Joseph. Jason says, McMurray in a Spire car. Yeah, but he actually has some good equipment. Spire is getting stuff from Hendrick this season, and I mean, I wouldn't really be too concerned about that. Because I think Corey LaJoie should have a decent season. But McMurray, I could see him not being super aggressive because he's already locked in the Daytona 500, so I don't think he's going to push it too much. I still like his floor because he's starting 18th, and I mean, he's going to stay above Quinn Houff, Bullocky, Cody Ware, Timmy Hill. At least you would think, and there's a decent chance he could gain a couple spots if someone just happens to do something stupid or just, how the draft works out. So I think Jamie McMurray is a fine floor play. I don't think the ceiling's super high for him because I don't think he's going to compete inside the top 5, but I'm not really in his mind, so I'm not sure exactly how he's going to play this out, but he probably won't go too crazy for sure. Dustin says, what's the lowest you would go on salary for Duel 1, and who's your favorite play for Duel 1? I don't know my exact lowest salary, or do you mean just per driver? I was thinking as a lineup as a whole. Lowest salary I'd go for Duel 1. I mean, I kind of have exposure to just about every single driver to cover my bases, but like if I'm like being serious, Ty Dillon's the lowest I'd really want to go. I just don't really want to mess around with the backmarker cars like Houff, Bullocky, Ware, and Timmy Hill, just because their upside is very, very low. I mean, not saying Ty Dillon's going to squeak into the top 5 here, but at least he's good at Daytona, and I mean, I think that's the lowest you'd want to go. I assume he's going to be pretty high owned as well, because the other options down there just really aren't that attractive. Let's see. Brian says they're both just going to fade to the back. Yeah, and this is what we usually see. I mean, Bowman has a history of it. When he starts first in the duel, he'll lead some laps, and then he'll just fade to the back. So I'm hoping they're high owned. That would be nice. It's just looking at ownership projections, it looks like people are catching on to that. It looks like he's going to be pretty low owned, unless it happens to be wrong, which I would hope so. Tracy says Joey Logano, highest starting driver in Duel 1, and Ryan Blaney in Duel 2. So Logano, you got 11th. Well, so you're fading some good guys like Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson. I don't really love Eric Almirola, Ricky Stenhouse. I'm not sure if I'd completely do that because it's not like a full-on stack to back here. It's not that Daytona 500 where it's going to be a wreck fest. I do like some guys inside the top 10. Like, I know Ricky Stenhouse Jr. starting third. He is a risky play for where he's starting relative to some other guys like MDB, Jones, Reddick. But Stenhouse is a guy I would not be surprised if he ended up winning this and leading the majority of the laps. So we'll see. I mean, it's definitely a strategy you can go with if you just want a super high floor. But I'm not fully fading these guys inside the top 10. It's not the usual Daytona 500 for sure. Aaron says, do you think there will be many pit stops? Can they go without stopping for gas? I don't know the exact pit thing. I'll have to check that. Bob usually tweets when there's going to be like the fuel thing. So I'll have to double check that because I don't want to give out bad information because I don't know exactly what it would be. Spread says, thought our man Blaney had it, but knew Chase would do that. Yeah, I really thought Blaney was going to win as well, and I was a little bit underweight on Blaney, but just as the leader of the Ryan Blaney fan club, I was kind of rooting for him to win there at the end, but he always seems to get really bad luck at the end of the races, or just when races that he should win, something bad usually happens to him. The guy just gets pretty unlucky, but yeah, he was looking pretty good there. Just had that little mistake, let Chase caught up, and then Chase dumped him, and only for Kyle Busch to steal the show. Brian says, thoughts on Ty Dillon, the 96 led a ton of laps in Daytona 2, so it could be interesting. So that was mainly just pit strategy for those guys, because I know Daniel Suarez, he stayed out, and it was just so funny, because we always called him the lawnmower man, and Daniel Suarez was the guy that actually ended up leading laps. It mainly just got lucky for where guys were pitting, and he ended up staying out, and he ended up being the leader of that pack, so I really don't think it means anything too much here. I would not expect Ty Dillon to get up front, but Ty Dillon is very, very good at plate races. So I don't think he's going to have a bad race here. It's just, it's not going to be a lot of carnage where half the field's going to wreck out, and Ty Dillon could just ride around in the top 10 at the end of the race. So that's the only concern there. But Ty Dillon's pretty much my favorite value play because we don't have much to pick from here. So nothing against Ty Dillon at all. Jonathan says, yeah, I pretty much gave up when Truex wrecked, but I also had Kyle, so that saved my lineup. Awesome. Yeah, Kyle. I think I had a little bit over 50% Kyle Busch, and he ended up pretty much saving the day there because I was a little bit overweight on Kyle, and it's nice to see him win for sure. Daniel says, is going Joey or Denny and then stacking Reddick, Jones, McMurray, Contrarian enough play? In large field GPPs, that is. Going one Dominator is scary. I think that's going to be like one of the chalkiest builds you can make. Joey, Denny, Reddick, Jones, that's pretty much as chalky as it gets. I would not be surprised if those are the high zone drivers on the slate, to be honest. So if you're going to get Contrarian, I would probably try to dump some of those guys for maybe a guy like Ryan Newman. You could throw in an MDB, a Stenhouse, because that's going to be a very, very chalky build for sure. Aaron says, are we thinking one up front guy to start the race and the rest place differential? I don't have any certain builds for me because, Dominator points aren't going to be super important here, and the fast laps are going to be spread out through the field because you really can't project fast laps at a track like Daytona because they're drafting and it's just, it's completely random. So, the lap sled points, it's not going to be like anything. We have, 42 total Dominator points, so, and let's just say Bowman, he ends up leading the majority of the laps early on, then he fades back. All those Dominator points are going to go to waste anyway, so I'm not really going to focus on Dominator points too much, but I think Ricky Stenhouse Jr., if you want to use a guy up front, I think he has a decent shot at leading a lot of laps in this race and winning. Decent shot, not saying it's a guarantee, but he is really good at plate races. Let's see. Couch says, Chris being a man and drinking his shine from the jar. Just water, my man. I just realized I was holding that the whole time. Cameron says we are taking the floor, I assume. Probably Hamlin, Jones, Logano, Newman, McDowell, maybe some other guys. Yeah, I like all those guys quite a bit. Very attractive options right there. Dude says, how much practice have these guys gotten this week, and will they have practice and qualifying for future races? So I believe NASCAR is having 8 races this year with practice, which sucks because I love back in the day when we had the full race weekend. We'd have a qualifying day, we'd have like 2 or 3 practices. Sucks that that's going away, but we are practicing this week. They did practice. I'm getting my days mixed. Yesterday was Wednesday, right? So they did practice yesterday. Bubba Wallace was the fastest driver in practice. I believe we're getting a couple more this weekend. So the problem is practice doesn't matter at all for Daytona because they're just drafting. So it sucks that one of the 8 races we do get this year, practice means pretty much nothing. But it's nice to see the cars on the track for sure over the weekend. I did miss that quite a bit. Chris says, is the rain still looking sketchy for Duel 2? I'm not sure. I guess I'd have to look it up on my phone. But if someone can look it up on their phone and let me know. Because someone in Discord chat, I know Chris is in Discord chat, someone sent, it looks like not the radar, but the hourly forecast didn't look too hot for Duel number 2. But I know that Florida weather can get absolutely funky. Amanda says, late as always, but I'm here. Hey, glad you're here, Amanda. Better late than never. You didn't miss too much. We're kind of just going through the questions. Spread Attack says, super unlucky all year for Blaney last year. Crew mostly in strategy. Yeah, for sure. There were several races. Ryan Blaney, was it the Texas race where he led nearly 200 laps and then I think a caution came out and it just screwed him. It sucked for him. Trey says, Myers is at the race, so we're running Kyle Larson tonight. Yeah, we know he loves Kyle Larson. So, man, might get some good luck there for him. I have a decent amount of Kyle Larson. I think anywhere from that 20 to 35% range for Kyle Larson is a good place to be at tonight. Because I don't love him starting 8th, but I don't hate him either. He's got top-level car. And he's on Hendrick now, and we always know they have a ton of juice for these races. Jeffrey says, CP, the GOAT on NASCAR. Appreciate it, Jeffrey. Appreciate it. Bowdy says, who finishes higher, Wallace or MDB? FanDuel combines both races. I'm down to those 2 last spots. Really, they combine both races? That sounds kind of confusing. But who finishes higher? I think Wallace has a decent chance to finish above MDB, but if we're going to factor in place differential, I would say MDB is the better play. I have MDB projected for more points than Bubba Wallace just because he's starting 2nd, so there's not much upside there. Although it's kind of confusing that they're combining both races, so we'll have to... I'm not really sure how that's going to work, but no, that's interesting. Trey says, Oh, that's a good emoji. Brian says, I think it was just one practice session for Cup. Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought I looked at the schedule, and I thought I saw more, but I'd have to double check that. Huh. I'll just look it up later. I guess it's not too much of a big deal because I don't really care about practice at Daytona anyway. I'm hoping there's more, though, because I just, bored, something to do, watch the cars on the track. Dude says FanDuel big tourneys already filled. Going to be interesting with combined duels. Yeah, that's really weird. I just found out about that like a minute ago. I'm not sure how I would really attack that. That would be interesting. Travis says, Chris, what's up? Going live. That's what's up. Yeah, for sure, Travis. Nice to have you here. R. Stanley says, Stanley in the house. What's up, Stanley? Glad you're in the house. Ryan says, how is weather looking? Last I checked, no bueno. Couple people said that Duel 2 looks pretty iffy, so if Duel 1 happened to go and then Duel 2 didn't, that would be a bit of a mess there. Dustin says, any left for Cendric? I don't have a lot of left for Cendric. I think I'm below like 15 or 10% ownership. Not a lot of left for Cendric. He's just in a weird spot for me. Let's see. Todd says, or I'm sorry, I think I missed one. Oh, Stanley says Wallace or Byron. I cannot recommend Byron to anybody just because I assume he's going to fade back at some point. He might look strong early and lead some laps. That's the assumption. But I assume he's going to fade back because he doesn't want to risk junking up that car. So I'd say Bubba. I think Bubba has a decent shot of winning that. He looks super fast for sure. Todd says thoughts on Bowman today. I would not play Bowman. Now, when I say that, I'll probably look stupid for a decent portion of the race, but I'm assuming he's going to fall back, because if you just look on Racing Reference, look at the past duels, he has started up front before, and that was what he did, so I'm assuming that's what's going to happen again, because there's really no incentive for him to go out there, race hard, and win, because he's already locked up on the pole. David, your message was retracted. If you didn't do that on purpose, you can send it again, but it does say retracted. I don't know if you deleted it or not. Amanda says over 60 on here live, so don't forget to hit that like button. It's just raining up in the Panhandle, but us in Florida say if you don't like weather, just wait 15 minutes and it'll change. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I'm actually thinking about moving to Florida, so me and my girlfriend, so I'm going to have to check that out. I don't know what cities are the best in Florida, so if you guys have any recommendations, you can let me know. But looking to get out of Ohio because it's just so cold here. MC Sub says, Ty, Dillon, or McDowell for Duel 1. Which you reckon has the most points? I've gone with Dillon as he starts a couple of spots back, so better ceiling and equally like to finish top 12. I like Ty Dillon over Michael McDowell. It's very close, but I'm going to give the edge to Ty Dillon just because he's starting a few spots further back, so why not take the safety there? Timothy says, any love for Larson? I do like Larson. I wouldn't say I like him nearly as much as Denny Hamlin or Joey Logano. I have about half the ownership on Larson than I do Logano and Hamlin, but I have a decent chunk. I have over 25%. Kyle Larson. I mean, he's kind of in that spot where I don't love it because he's starting 8th, but I don't hate it either. So it's just one of those guys. Travis says, what do I think about Quincy Hoff? Well, I think I have like 5% Hoff. Maybe like 3 to 5% Hoff. I'm not really liking those back markers too much. Sorry, when you said Quincy, it threw me off because I was like, Quincy Hoff. Phil says, hey Chris, for betting you think Stenhouse Jr. and Bubba would be good shots for top 3s? Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. I don't know what the odds are, but I wouldn't hate taking a shot on that for sure. Big Ritter says, just got here to say stack the back race. Not really, actual Daytona, yeah, we'll be stacking the back for the most part. Always, take some shots at the guys up top, but for this race, it should be pretty calm, pretty boring. I think you need a nice mix of guys up front, guys in the middle, and maybe a couple guys starting further back. Not saying we should play Hill, Ware, Balicki, but guys like Ty Dillon, McDowell, McMurray, Jones, Reddick, those kind of guys. I think that works. Let's see. Dude says, PSA FanDuel locks at 7 p.m., Draftkings locks at 7:15 p.m. Oh, I'm glad Draftkings gave us the extra 15 minutes. That makes me feel a little bit better because I still got to export my lineups. Because I was making lineups before I got on live, so that's fresh in my mind right now. I just didn't have time to upload it yet. Stanley says, Chris, if you're just making one lineup, would you use Wallace or Alfredo? I'd go with Alfredo there. As kind of weird as that sounds. But he just offers a little bit more safety than Bubba Wallace because, Bubba happens to fall outside the top 10 and Alfredo maybe gains a spot or two because John Nemechek last year in that car actually was not that bad at super speedway. So I'll go with Alfredo there. Joe says, I'm taking the Connecticut boys, Logano, Priest, and Alfredo in Duel 2. I think that's pretty... not risky, but I think that's pretty bold, having Priest, because, he's starting pretty high up, but I don't think a lot of people are going to take him, so if he can at least hold his position or stay inside the top 10, and the other guys have some issues, you'd be looking pretty good, so I don't mind that. But I definitely like Logano. Definitely like Logano. I guess I got my duels mixed up. I was thinking Logano's in the same one as Alfredo. It's going to be hard to remember which guys are in which. Todd says, who wins the title this year? I wouldn't be surprised if Chase ran it back. I mean, he's NASCAR's most popular driver. He looked great last season. We're at so many road courses this year, which we know Chase Elliott excels at, but we'll see. I mean, I'd say like a Kevin Harvick, a Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, I'd say those are like the favorites for me right now. So we'll have to see as the season progresses. Aaron says, me and my girlfriend have a place in Mount Dora, Florida, but we live in Vermont. Where's Mount Dora? Is it in the northern part, southern part? I mean, I'm trying to figure out everything I can about Florida because I want to decide where to look at because you can't visit every single city. Dude says, I wonder if Larson was racing at all when he was in timeout last year. He was doing a lot of dirt stuff. I mean, like every single day it seemed like. Twist says, will there be a competition caution flag? I have not seen that update on Twitter. I usually wait for Bob to tweet that. If he did, I can check his Twitter really quick. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a big deal what the competition caution is anyway. Probably should have checked that before I got on here. He's kind of just talking about truck practice, So Bob, the recent tweet he's had 45 minutes ago, he said 45% chance of rain. So I guess that's a better than 50-50, so. If anyone knows, let me know, because I did not see that yet. Travis says, autocorrect, my bad, Chris. And pound that like button, guys. Yeah, appreciate everyone that leaves a like. It really helps the video out, helps the stream, gets it to more people. Do appreciate that. Benjamin says, thoughts on Briscoe and Chastain. So is that in the duel number 2? I think it is. So let me switch over there. If it loads, I'm getting a blank screen. Okay, so let's see. Chastain starting 12th, and I believe Briscoe starting 11th. So I feel like I'd be more inclined to play Briscoe just because he's nearly $2,000 cheaper, and I feel like they have very similar upside. Briscoe's in some pretty good equipment in the 14 car. Not saying Chastain isn't either. I mean, he's in the 42 car now, which is what not Chase Elliott, which is what Kyle Larson used to be in. Not saying he's going to be the same driver Kyle Larson by any means, but I don't hate these guys as lower owned plays. I don't think they're going to have too much ownership. I don't love either because I feel like they can finish right around where they start, which doesn't offer you a ton of upside, but they're kind of just in place for me. And that doesn't stand out too much, but I'm not really fully against them for sure. Amanda says, well, if y'all like to be in the country, the Panhandle is great. We're the country part of Florida, and you can still have the beach close to y'all in the rivers. I think you two would love it. And that sounds nice. I mean, I know she definitely likes the beach. I don't like going into the ocean too much, but I definitely like tanning by the sand, on the sand or whatever, on the beach. I guess it's all the same. Have to check it out. Because I don't really know. I've never been to Florida. I've been a lot of places, but I haven't been to Florida. Jonathan says the fast lap change to 0.45 points will screw with me because I'm always counting fast laps while watching to keep track. Oh, I know. It shouldn't be too much when it comes to actually building lineups, but it's going to be hard to get used to. Because I was still thinking the other day that it's half a point for a fast lap, and it was throwing me off. Timothy says, can LaJoy do anything in Duel 2? I mean, well, I think he's starting 17th. I'm not going to switch back there. I think he's starting 17th, and I think he'll be fine. I mean, I'm not expecting him to have a monster race or anything, but I would not be surprised if he gains a spot or two. But I got to be honest, I don't love LaJoy. I just feel like he's a bit pricey, to be honest. But the mid-range and the lower price drivers in Duel number 2 are just not that great, so kind of forced to play those guys. Dude says Kurt Busch number 1 car is overdue for a championship. Not sure if he's going to compete for a championship this year, but the guy's a top 10 machine. He's consistent. He just doesn't have that top level speed. Dustin says Almirola, Stenhouse, Hamlin, Logano, McDowell, and Ty Dillon for a turning lineup. Yeah, I don't mind that. Almirola's a good plate racer. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't have much Almirola, but that means he's going to be pretty low owned, and I don't hate taking a stab at that. You know, Stenhouse, Almirola, I mean, they could hold 1-2 for the race and finish out the top 5. That's not a bad play. Timothy says, Logano homie already, Chris? Not sure what you mean. Logano homie already, Chris. Had to expand on that for me. R. Stanley says, Kyle Busch is mad and hungry. He'll be your 2021 champion. Hey, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I like Kyle Busch. I know a lot of people do not like Kyle Busch, but I love the M&M car. It's always fun. He's got the Snickers, the Skittles. I mean, he's got the greatest looking cars almost every week. Seek and Destroy says, what's up, Chris? What's up, Seek? Well, I think I missed something. Hold on. Gerard says, is Graxon too much of a lawnmower in Duel 2? Oh, I love the lawnmower jokes. No, I actually like Graxon quite a bit. He's my highest owned low price driver in that duel. He's also in the 62 car, and if you guys don't know anything about the 62 car, if you played last season, we played Brendan Gaughan every single time at Daytona, and that's what Brendan Gaughan's car was in. I know it's not like a top level car like a Larson, an Almirola, Hamlin, Logano kind of car, but it's not that bad. I mean, it's better than guys like Hill, Ware, Bilicki, those kind of guys. So I like Graxon quite a bit, and I actually imagine he's going to be pretty popular too. Mason, your message was retracted, so if you didn't do that, you can send it again, but it says retracted for me. Aaron says 1 hour from Daytona. Oh, awesome. Have you ever been to a race there? Benjamin says Port St. Lucie, Florida here. I was actually looking at that. It looked nice, but I didn't really learn too much about it, so I'm still learning. Cameron says rain looks like it still may hit. That sucks. It'd be just so NASCAR-like for it to get rained out, wouldn't it? Let's see. Mason says, favorite play for duel number 1. It's like a toss-up between Logano and Hamlin for me. Those are the two top dogs. The majority of my lineups include Logano and Hamlin, so it's kind of just a tie for me, just jamming in both those guys. Now, if you're talking mid-range, a guy like Reddick and Eric Jones, I like those guys quite a bit as well. But like my overall favorite play, I would say, is Joey Logano. Trey says, building Duel 2, is Graxon okay for last driver? Yeah, for sure. I think that's what most people are going to do. I mean, he's a very safe play, starting dead last, so he can't lose you any points whatsoever. The only way he can go is up. Oh, let's see. Ryan says, hey, what's up, Chris? Hope you've been doing good, brother. Glad race season is back. Looking forward to your shows and baseball right around the corner. Yeah, Ryan, it's going to be awesome. I might be doing live shows on Osmo for MLB as well, and then, of course, I'll be doing my own stuff as well. So, lots to look forward to this spring. It's going to be busy, but it's going to be fun. Because you guys know I love baseball and I love NASCAR. Brina, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Value in duel number 1. My favorite value plays in duel number 1 is Ty Dillon and Michael McDowell. I think those are the safest options there. Because Daniel Suarez starting 6th, Cindric starting 10th, Pre starting 5th. Those guys are more than likely going to move back. R. Stanley says, Chris, are you doing any extra work, Osimo or Sal or anything like that? You should. You're the best NASCAR man out in the DFS world. Appreciate that, Stanley. And actually, yes, I am. So for Osimo, I am doing the Live Before Lock. It's a new show. So I think Daytona 500's at 2:30 Sunday. So we'll be doing a live stream at 1:30 to 2:30, Live Before Lock. I think that speaks for itself. And then me and Sal were actually talking recently, and I think we're going to do a video on Fridays going over betting and just some things like that. I still have to figure out how I want to do the show because I don't want to make it a replica of what I do every single week because no one wants to watch the same video twice. I'm trying to think of a way to spice it up and make it different. So might be doing that tomorrow. We'll see. But either way, I'm looking forward to that. So I'll have more NASCAR content for you out there in the YouTube world. Greg says, CP, thanks for everything, Vroom. Yeah, no problem, Greg. Nice to have you here. Josh says, best value on Duel 2. Love your content. Been subscribed since I found you last season. Awesome, Josh. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. My favorite value on Duel number 2 is Graxon. Just because he's starting dead last, he's cheap. I feel like he's underpriced. Ryan Earnhardt, nice last name. The duels are always the biggest dart throws of the year. Good luck, fellas. Yeah, for sure. It's really hard to just see how this race is going to play out. I mean, but, it's a NASCAR DFS slate, so I feel inclined to play it, so I am. Let's see. Baldy in the Oaf says, hey, Chris. What's up, Baldy? Sounds mean saying that, but what's up? Nug says, what's up, fam, here at work in Columbus, Ohio, getting my lineups together for tonight. Hey, I'm right north of you, like 2 hours, so what is up, fellow Ohioan? Hope you're staying warm. Baldy says, I miss Brendan Gaughan already. I know, he was just the biggest lock every single time. We had 4 Super Speedway races last year. He was in the optimal, I think, 3 out of 4, so sad that he's gone for sure. Definitely love Brendan Gaughan. Twist says, how do you think J-Mac will do? I think J-Mac can compete for a top 15. I'm just not sure how much he's going to push it because he's already locked in. So that's the only concern there. But I do have a lot of Jamie McMurray just because of where he's starting. So I don't want to make it sound like I don't like him. I want to say I think he'll come in around 40 to 50% owned tonight, and I'm in that range. Johnny says, I'm new to the duels. How do they work? Where they finish is where they start for the 500. Yeah, it's something like that. Now, there's 2 duels, so they kind of mix it up a little bit. But like if a guy finishes last, Assuming he was already locked in, he'll start in the back of the pack for the Daytona 500. It's like a qualifying session, a heat race, if that's what you want to call it. It's just kind of a fun thing to do. It's more entertaining than watching cars just qualify single file, like we saw yesterday. Oh, Timothy says last year you were touting Logano weekly, so I was teasing you. You were a homie. Oh, yeah, there's definitely a lot of weeks I touted Logano. I do like those Penske drivers for sure. Cameron says Gunn would be 100% lock for me for these restrictor plate tracks. Yeah, I mean, it was just so hard not to 100% lock him. Now, I always say you don't lock a driver, so I would go like 60, 65%, then he'd make the optimal, and I was upset I didn't go 90 to 100%, but he could have easily crashed out, but the guy's just a machine at the super speedways. He's just so good at just waiting until the right time to push it and avoid the wrecks. Timothy says, got a lot of my family that relocated from Ohio to Florida. They live in Deland, which is halfway between Daytona and Orlando. See, I've never even heard of Deland, if I'm saying it right. I was looking at the bigger cities, so I guess I have a lot to learn out there. I'm looking forward to it, though. It'll be fun. DFS Pope says, top 3 payouts for Duel 2. Sorry, pay-ups. I was like, what are payouts? Top 3 pay-ups for Duel 2. Let me switch over the sheet, because... Okay, so Keselowski, Blaney, Elliott. I would say the top 3 pay-ups will be Keselowski, Blaney, and Truex for me. Because you get the place differential upside, and I see them all competing for a top 5 there, especially Keselowski and Blaney, because 2 Penske cars, they run very, very well at the duels. Oops, lost my chat. Let's see. Aaron says, I've been to Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, and New Hampshire. Oh, dang, you've been everywhere. Awesome, Aaron. That's cool. Dude says, whoa, congrats on the Osmo gig. Yeah, thank you, dude. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Mason says, 2 top $8,000 range drivers, duel number 1. $8,000 range drivers, I would say Eric Jones and Tyler Reddick. And then really just to rank those guys, I would say Jones, Reddick, MDB, then Christopher Bell. Boldy says, no way. No, wait, oh, congrats. Okay, never mind. I forgot the chat's behind, so thank you. Appreciate that. Louis says, never done a duel. What is the best way to attack it? The duels are very weird. For the most part, we're playing the guys that have some place differential upside, but they can also finish strong. So, like Josh Bilicki here, he's got the highest place differential on the slate, but I don't like Josh Bilicki because his car is just not that great. So, we kind of like try to mix and match that. Like Eric Jones, he's got a car that can compete for a top 5. He's starting 15, so I like Eric Jones. Logano, he's not starting as far back, but I would not be surprised if he won the race. So I know he does not offer us as much place differential upside, but he's got some pretty high finishing position potential. So for the most part, I'm attacking finishing position potential and place differential. Hope that makes sense. Chris says, heck yeah. Keep it PG. Chris and Sal working together. Yeah. Trying to figure out how I want to do that, but it'll be fun, I think so. Tracy says Jamie with place differential and possible top 10 or Denny. Yeah, I think that works for sure. I mean, most of my lineups will work that way anyway. So, R. Stanley says, what happened to Nemechek? He's in the truck series, as Boldy just said below me. Yeah, he's in the truck series. Louis says, congrats on Awesome, and I like Sal better too, if that's the Sal you're talking about. Yes, that's the Sal I'm talking about. Glad to hear you guys like that, though. Hopefully, I'm going to try to do one for tomorrow, although I got to brainstorm and see how that's going to work. So I'll try my best, though, because I got to do my own video, then a bunch of other stuff, too. But I think I can make it work, especially if you guys want me to. R. Stanley says, thanks, Frederick. I live in Lake Mary for 3 years in Smyrna. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. For 4 years, very nice. Is that in Florida? I have to check that out as well. I got to make a list of all these cities you guys are giving me. I'm not gonna, I have to take screenshots of the chat so I remember. Because we were thinking Texas or Florida, but I don't know, Florida just sounds warmer. Which I know Texas is warm, but I feel like Florida stays warmer in the winter than Texas does. So I could be wrong, though. I'm just guessing. Natalie says, moved from New Jersey to Deerfield Beach, Florida, 1 mile from beach on East Coast between Fort Lauderdale and Boca. Amazingly beautiful there. That sounds amazing. I know Fort Lauderdale, don't know Boca, I don't know Deerfield Beach, but that sounds really nice for sure. I'm jealous of you right now because I think it's like 5 degrees outside. It sucks. Dan says Wallace or LaJoy in duel number 2. I would say LaJoy is the safer play there. Wallace, he has potential to win the race, so if you're looking for a low-owned, like a riskier play that could potentially break the slate, I would say Wallace. If you just want a bit of a safer floor, I think Corey LaJoy is your guy there. Nick says, hey Chris, will you be doing the races every Sunday with Osimo or just the 500? The plan is every single race, so live before lock. Now I know Phil, he's optional for that, so I think in big races, Phil is going to join me live before lock, and I don't think if the races are too big, like New Hampshire race, I think it'll just be just me. Have to double check on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm doing every single race, so you guys, I'm going to be doing my live streams in the morning. I'm going to plan on that, so got all the NASCAR DFS content, so you can have me live in the morning, and then I'll be live later on before the race. So I guess I'll be very busy, but I think I'll be okay. And congrats. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. Gerard says, is McMurray driving the 40 car for CGR? I believe he's in the 77, right? Because I know on my sheet, it doesn't, I know it has an error. I'm pretty sure he's in 77. Oh, let's see. Dude says, apparently Chris likes me and made me a moderator as I am on most of these chats and help them when they get gnarly. Yes, I remember one time there was a couple, or not a couple, there was quite a few trolls in the chat, and Dude was doing his job for me. I do appreciate that. Cameron says, sorry, I missed it. Okay, Cameron says both have no income tax. Yeah, that was the big reason. No income tax, and that's about as good as it gets for me. So, big reason there. And plus, weather's nicer too. Tim says, thanks for all you do. No problem, Tim. Thanks for stopping by. Jonathan says, throw in Venice for your list to check it out. Okay, sure. Totally will. Venice. Sounds Italian or something. Stanley says, that's cool, Frederick. Max says, I've got an exam in 2 hours, but I come to study NASCAR instead. Hey, this is more useful than your exam, I promise you. So you came to the right place, Max. Just make sure you study like 5 minutes before the test. Get a cramp session in. But, glad you're here. Tracy says, if you remember my question you just read, which would you go with between Jamie and Denny? If you're asking me just between McMurray and Denny Hamlin straight up, it's Denny easily, because I think Denny's got a really good shot of winning this race. So that's what the question was. Definitely Denny there. Dude says, you're a NASCAR guy. Chris, North Carolina is beautiful. Blue Mountains in the heart of racing country. That is true. North Carolina is nice. There's options. There's options for sure. Although that no income state tax, whatever it was for Florida, it's very enticing. Nug says, what contest we all playing tonight? I'm mostly on Draftkings, playing a lot in the 50-cent contest. So for the Clash, I played the big one. For the duels, I'm playing pretty light, to be honest. I think there's a lug nut. I maxed that. I maxed the mini max just so I can have 150, because I don't want to play 150 in the $8 just for 2 duels, because they're just the duels. I don't want to get too crazy, so I wanted to make sure I can build 150. So I went to the mini max, the lug nut. Might do some single entries, and we'll go from there. And I got to do NBA as well. I think NBA locks at 7:30 tonight, so I got a little bit more time to work on that beforehand. Let's see. Stanley says, do you live in... Okay, he's just talking to Duke. Amanda says, lowest priced pick for Duel 2. Noah Gragson for me. He's dirt cheap. I think he's 5,500. He's starting in the very back. He's kind of an easy pick him there, to be honest. Gritter says, would you label the equipment Bubba is driving top-notch? I wouldn't say he's quite the Kevin Harvick, Logano, Hamlin kind of guy, but it's pretty darn good. I mean, he should compete for top 10s and top 15s this season consistently, I would say. I don't think he's going to come out there and win a championship or get top 5s all the time, but he's got some pretty darn good equipment. I mean, plenty of funding. I mean, their sponsorships are just completely backloaded. There's a lot of money there. Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, no shortage of funding for that equipment whatsoever, so... expecting a really good season for Bubba Wallace, for sure. And Bubba wasn't that bad at all for the 43 car last year. Definitely had a nice season. Let's see. Cameron says, I'm stuck right next to you here in Indiana. Ice and snow everywhere right now. Sorry, Cameron. It sucks, doesn't it? Guess we're neighbors there, but definitely cold. Definitely cold. Every day I go outside, it hurts. Let's see. Timothy says, love Venice, vacation many times in Nokomis. I think I'm saying it right. That is really close to there. I guess a lot of people here have been to Florida or live in Florida. Stanley says, come to Myrtle Beach, Chris, I'll buy you a beer. Well, I've never been to Myrtle Beach. I know my friends have for spring break, but I'm not one to get crazy, so I don't really go anywhere too much. But I heard it's nice there. Never been there before though. Step Lubach. Waited all winter for this. Glad to be back with the best NASCAR DFS guy, Chris. Appreciate that. I think you said your name's Stu before, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but thank you, Stu. Do appreciate that. Gooder says, thanks. Just started watching when I found Chris' channel. Awesome. Cameron says, Chris, I'm just watching this, enjoying a nice bowl of chili. You guys are going to hate me, but I don't like chili either, to be honest. I don't like beans, and I don't like onions and stuff. So, although my mom used to make it, she would take out the onions and all the bland stuff, or not the bland stuff, all the fancy stuff in there, and I've had pretty much just a bowl of hamburger meat and chili sauce for the most part, which I thought was decent. Louis says, who's your top play for NBA tonight? Nikola Vucevic. I forget what price he is, but I think he's going to have a pretty solid night. Unless he's happened to get rolled out. I know NBA tends to get rolled out all the time, but I love Vucevic tonight. I also like Jaylen Brown. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'd have to look at my spreadsheet, but yeah. So 2 guys I remember right off the top of my head, but definitely like Vucevic and Jaylen Brown quite a bit. Dude says, any chance we'll do Busch or Truck Series content, Chris? I'm not going to. I don't really have the time to do so. I'm not sure if that sounds lazy or anything, but there's a lot of work to do for Cup, so I'm not sure I would really... I'd exhaust myself, I think, doing Xfinity and Trucks contests. Like, I could throw out like some poor content for that series, but I want to make sure the content I do is I feel pretty proud about that. And I don't think I could do that for Cup. Not Cup, for Xfinity and Trucks. Although I know Phil from Osimo, we were in the Slack chat, and he's actually going to be doing an article, I believe, for the Trucks and Xfinity series, which I'm not sure if it'll be free or not, but if it is, I'll post it on Twitter for you guys so you can check it out, because I know Phil's a smart guy. So you'll have that to look forward to if you guys want to play the lower series stuff. Chef says, what do you think of the dirt tracks? Oh, the one they're doing at Bristol? You mean the one at Bristol? I'm not looking forward to that at all, really, because I'm not sure how to play that. Thankfully, that's one of the tracks they're going to have practice at, so at least we'll have some information to look at, because if it was just a show up and race, I probably wouldn't even play that week, because I'd have absolutely no idea how to do that. Someone in my Discord just said OG is out, so load up PAL. So those of you playing NBA, there you go. Let's see. But if you're talking about just regular dirt racing, I don't really watch it too much. To be honest, I'm just kind of a Cup junkie. I'm not too into the other ones, to be honest. Baldy says, I hate beans and onions too. Right there with you, Baldy. I don't like them. I don't know. I don't really eat them either, so maybe I'm just being unfair to them, but don't really like them too much. Max says, best cash plays from number 2. I'm locking Kes, but not sure where to go next. All right, let me go over there just to make sure I'm not mixing these guys up. So the best cash plays from duel number 2, I'd say Keselowski, Blaney, Truex, I think Chris Buescher. We haven't talked about Chris Buescher yet. I think Chris Buescher is one of the best plays in duel number 2. I imagine he's going to be one of my higher owned drivers. So definitely like Chris Buescher. Corey LaJoie, I think he's not in a bad spot. It's just, he feels a little expensive, but I think he can definitely gain some spots. And I like Alfredo, then Noah Gragson for the cheap drivers. So hopefully that was helpful. Let's see. Cameron says, only soup I like. It's cold. Had to have it today. Yeah, I totally understand that. I like tomato soup with grilled cheese, and I like chicken noodle soup. And broccoli and cheddar soup. Broccoli and cheddar soup. Or cheese, not specifically cheddar, broccoli and cheese soup. Oh yeah, you just said tomato and chicken too. So Stanley says Lillard and Vooch tonight, lock them in. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to Lillard, because there's a lot of good point guards. Like, we got Cole Anthony, I know he's questionable, but then you got Brogdon, Lillard, Kemba Walker even. Point guard's loaded. So I'll have to figure that out. Louis says, just started NASCAR DFS last year and watched a lot of your videos. It helped me win some money. Awesome. Glad to hear that, Louis. No takedowns, though, but had a nice 6-race winning streak. Awesome. Hopefully we get you a takedown this year. And Cameron says, Larson and Bell will be a lock. You mean for the dirt? I was like, well, I'm not sure if Bell was going to be a lock starting 4th tonight, but yeah, okay, I get what you mean. Kemper says, who was your favorite top picks for Duel 1? Just got here. Hey, no problem. I don't mind repeating myself. From Duel 1, I mean, I guess from each price range, I'd say Logano, Hamlin up top, In the mid-range, Tyler Reddick, Eric Jones. And then down low, Michael McDowell, Ty Dillon. I think that's what you're looking for. R. Stanley says, are you one of the vegans? No, I love meat. I'm a very picky eater. Very picky eater. Try to have chicken and, yeah, pretty much chicken every day. Benjamin, Air Force +4 lock tonight. Oh, I don't know anything about, so you're talking about college. I don't know anything about that, but if any of you want to try that out, there you go. Small says, hate the new film, but I'll still watch though. Oh, you mean just for the regular race, not DFS. I hear you. I know some people don't like that. FE says, CP, you need to expand your taste. I know. I'm just a bit of a wimp when it comes to tasting new stuff. Like, when I go to a restaurant, I always tell myself I'll try something different, then I just order the same exact thing. So, I know. I just hate, I'm scared if I order something I don't like it, then I ruin my dinner, though. Appreciate that, dude. Appreciate that. Stanley says, on DraftKings with one single lineup, what's the best contest to play? Well, I don't remember them off the top of my head, but I know they always have like a 50, they have like 180, was it 180, a 109, I forget the exact price for it. Is it 109, 112, 110, something like that. Then they have a 50, a 24, a 12, a 4, and then I think it just trickles down from there. So it really just depends on how much money you're playing on the slate, to be honest. So, which I don't know, so I can't tell you that, but I would definitely pick one of those, because you don't want to join like the $8 150 max if you're only building one lineup, because you're pretty much drawing dead there anyway unless you happen to hit the lottery ticket. Dude says I need to renew, but I think he offers NFL, NASCAR, NBA, and MLB content well worth the $20. Appreciate that, dude. Thank you. Put a lot of work into that every single day. Right after this, I got to work on the NBA spreadsheet, because I'm sure some guys got rolled out, so I have to update minutes and stuff. Phil says you think Bell has a shot to get top 3 tonight. I like his new team. Yeah, I mean, Joe Gibbs is really, really fast in practice. I'm not saying it's going to exactly equate to this race, but he's starting up front, so he's got track position to work with. And if this is a very boring race and most of these guys finish where they start, I mean, Bell could certainly gain a spot. I don't think it's likely that he gets inside the top 3, but he definitely has the ability to do so. And I'm really excited to see what Bell can do this season in the 20 car for sure. Definitely a nice upgrade. You're welcome, Kemper. Kemper, okay. Just making sure I said that right. Morgan says, what are the odds that these duels become something worth watching? Probably low. Probably low. But, I mean, what else are we going to watch besides, I guess, some NBA games? I don't know what's on at 7 or 9. Well, I guess 7 or 9 is the whole slate. So I guess there's nothing else to really watch. Although, no, never mind. Forget what I was going to say. Oops. Dude says I'm not a paid promoter of Chris. No, I do not pay Dude to say that, so I do appreciate what he says. Jason says OG is out for Toronto. That's what Trey told me in the Discord. I know he was in here earlier, but I'm sure he's crunching NBA now, so I guess OG ought to change a couple of things. Eric says, live in Maine, but parents have a place in Venice, Florida. That's the second person talking about Venice, so I guess I would definitely have to look that up. For the winter, be visiting there in a few weeks. I play both DK and FanDuel. FanDuel is interesting tonight, combining both duels in one for contest. Yeah, that is really interesting, because I had no idea about that until a little bit ago, because I don't really play on FanDuel, so I'm not sure. That's going to be interesting. I don't know the pricing or anything, so I wouldn't know exactly how to tell you how to go about that, but yeah. See, I was thinking about, speaking of Florida, I was thinking about going to Nevada, because I love Las Vegas, but I forgot that you can't play DraftKings there, and it's quite literally my job, so that would be a big problem, because I'm not going to drive to the California border every single day, because that'd be awful for gas. So I kind of had to scratch that off as much as I'd like to live there. So Texas and Florida, I know it's legal there, so decide between those two as of now. Stanley says, how do I join Patreon? Where do I go and how much is it? I put it in the description of all my videos, but Duke just linked it as well if you want to click that, if you want to check it out. Cameron says, NHL is beautiful. Jason says, NHL, watch it. I can't get into hockey. I have nothing against hockey. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad sport or anything. I don't find it that entertaining. Not to be offensive to any hockey fans. I don't personally like it. It's the same. I'm sure a lot of people do not like NASCAR. Now, people that are here, we all like NASCAR, but I'm just not a big hockey guy. Louis says, are you leaving any money on the table tonight? Eric Jones and Ryan Newman are 6K on FanDuel. Yeah, I have plenty of lineups that are leaving money on the table. I was just looking at Fantasy Cruncher. I think I had several in the $48,000 range, so no issue with that whatsoever. Amanda says, it's 74 in my neck of Florida. I'm between Tallahassee and Panama City Beach. That sounds amazing. That's like 70 degrees warmer than, than my place right now. I'd love to be able to just go to the beach in wintertime in February. That'd be great. Louis says 6K is close to min on FanDuel. Eric Jones is $7,000 on FanDuel. That seems like a steal. Yeah, I like that. Ryan Newman seems really cheap as well. Dude says, might require a longer answer, but can you talk about what you would do about weekly projections considering drivers' experience, results at a given track versus the results of a team with a given car? Okay, let me think about this. Might require a longer answer, but can you talk about what you do about weekly projections considering drivers' experience, results at a given track versus the results of a team with a given car? Oh, you mean drivers on new teams? So I kind of have to do that manually, or you can also look at the, let's say for Bubba Wallace this year, well, we don't have any history in the 23 car, so maybe Christopher Bell, because he was in the 95 car last season. Now he's in a much better ride. Not saying the 95 was complete trash, but it's definitely not the 20 car. We know Eric Jones had definitely a lot of juice in that 20 car, definitely had some really good runs. Christopher Bell, I would say maybe mixing in some of Eric Jones' numbers last year into Christopher Bell's numbers, like projected stats this season, might be a good way to go about it. Because looking at Christopher Bell's numbers last year, I think we can definitely beef up those averages. And when I do projections, I do a lot of averages. So if I just strictly use last season, Christopher Bell is going to underperform in the projections compared to where I think he should be. So that's something I'm going to have to do manually, but I figured that out through the weekend for the most part. But I can add some Eric Jones numbers and things like that. I hope that makes sense. Hard to think of that on the fly, because I know what I want to say. It's just hard to put it in words if I don't have it written down. Cameron says it's 15 here, Amanda. Sorry, I'm reading the chat before that. Underneath that, I'd much rather it be 74. I'm with you, Cameron. I am with you. Jason says no Taco Bell, no chili, no NHL. Unsubscribe. Don't unsubscribe. I'm sorry. Just kidding. Keep doing God's work, brother. Certainly will. I'll try to. Chef Nikia, I think I'm saying that right. Chef Nikia. I started watching NASCAR because of you. My adrenaline was going down for the Daytona 500 last year. Yeah, my adrenaline was going for the Daytona 500 last year. It's crazy, and man, I love the Daytona 500 because we look super stupid for the majority of the race because we're all stacking the back. So our lineups are dead for the most part, and then I'll have people commenting, tweeting me like, "Oh, this doesn't work," and then there's the big one, and then our lineups shoot right up like that. So. Yeah, the Daytona 500, man, it's definitely, to get your adrenaline going, it's a really good sweat. I think it's the best DFS sweat of all sports. NBA, you know when you're dead for the most part. If your guy sucks, doesn't get as much minutes as you thought, you're dead. But in NASCAR, you can be dead, then you can be winning $20,000, then you could be winning $5,000, then you can be dead again. It's a nice swinging pendulum. It's really fun. Bowdy says it's 7 degrees with wind chill of -9 currently here in Kansas. Oh my gosh, sorry, that's awful. Although I think I'm pretty close to that as well, so I feel your pain, but I don't think it's quite -9, so I'm so sorry. Gritter says it's 0 where I'm at. Man, we're all stuck in the cold, aren't we, besides some of these lucky few people? Although I think I caught up to the chat. So, yeah. FE says the same thing. So if I caught up to the chat, I guess I'll get out of here. I think we're close to an hour now. It was a fun chat. So if you guys don't have any more questions, silly or serious, I don't care. I'll answer about anything. I don't really have much else to do besides work on some other stuff for the weekend. Let's see. Dude says, don't let the chat guy with the wrench ban you, Jason. Totally just kidding. Yeah, dude's a good moderator for me. All right, so if we're good, I guess I'll get out of here and let you guys build your lineups because we have 45 minutes, 50 minutes to lock, and I guess I got to still build my own lineups and do some NBA stuff, so probably be a good time to get out of here. I got to eat some dinner as well. I'm starving. I have had breakfast today and a snack or two. I'm starving. So I'll let you guys go. Oh, sorry. Bowdy says, how often has stacking back not worked at Daytona in past? So I'll put that on the previous optimal lineups in the spreadsheet, but it pretty much works every single time. Now, there's guys inside the top 5, top 10, they can squeak in the optimal lineup, but for the most part, the majority of the lineup, it's going to feature guys from the very back, because that's just the nature of Daytona, and we'll go in depth on that in the Daytona video. So, yep, you're welcome, Louie. Appreciate it. Good luck, FE. Yeah, good luck, everybody. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. You're welcome, Steven. Do appreciate that. I'm going to get out of here. Louis says, favorite NBA game stack. I'm just a chalk cash game donkey when it comes to NBA, so I'm not going to talk about stacking or anything. But, I mean, the Blazers Magic Yeah, Blazers and Magic, right? I'm all NASCAR minded myself right now. Here, I'm gonna go on the. Here, I'm gonna look at the NBA spreadsheet really quick. Oops. Oh, okay. Orlando's playing Golden State. Got that mixed up. I know they're playing a pretty bad defense, but yeah, I love Vucevic. But I'm not turning this into an NBA stream. But yeah, the highest one on the slate is Philly and Portland. That's what I was getting mixed up. So if you want to stack that game, I don't think that's a bad way to go. There, we got a sneak peek of some NBA action. But all right, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Appreciate everyone stopping by, and I'll see you next stream.